5 U.S. citizens detained by Iran transferred $6 billion unfrozen Iranian oil assets between Islamic Republic of Iran and the Biden administration on Monday. In 2015 he was released under a high-risk, complex diplomatic agreement involving release 5 accused Iranians. An airplane carrying U.S. Americans landed on Fort Belvoir, Virginia, just south of Washington, D.C. on Tuesday morning. American prisoners include Siamak Namazi, Emad Shargi and Morad Tahbaz, who were sentenced to 10 years in prison on charges of unfounded espionage. According to U.S. officials, the 2 Americans involved in the deal, including a former UN employee woman, asked for their names to remain confidential. The family members were released on September 19, 2023, when they arrived at Davison Army Air Base in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, USA. Released by a captive exchange agreement between the U.S. and Iran. Morad embraces Tahbaz and Emad Shargi. Jonathan ERNST A flight carrying U.S. citizens from Tehran landed in Doha, Qatar shortly before 1100 on Monday. They were transferred to U.S. surveillance, and then Washington, D.C. on the plane. They were accompanied by U.S. Special Presidential Ambassador Roger Carstens and Iranian Special Envoy Abram Paley, who met former prisoners in Doha. Each of the released Americans was greeted by friends and family groups with small U.S. flags on the Fort Belvoir asphalt. When they reunited, smiles, kisses and warm hugs help remove the cold morning air. After 15 minutes, the group entered, where the celebration continued. Carstens made a brief statement inviting everyone to their home and encouraged them to continue the fight for other people still detained in Iran. From left to right, former prisoners in Iran Emad Shargi, Morad Tahbaz and Siamak Namazi descend from Qatar Airways plane, which brought them from Tehran to Doha, Qatar. September 18, 2023. Lujain JoAP According to Shargi's family, President Biden and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan made a short phone call with the prisoners' families after arriving in Doha. The White House called it an emotional call. Sources familiar with planning said that the U.S. government is expected to be given mobile phones to call their families and share their freedom news before arriving. Namazi, a 51-year-old businessman, was the longest detention person who was arrested in 2015 and left behind in past prisoner exchanges by both Obama and Trump administrations. Shargi is a businessman and resides in Washington, D.C. and the Tahbaz lives in the UK, USA. Nationalist and environmentalist was detained in 2018. Emad Shargi appears in an undated photo provided by the Shargi family according to senior management officials. The plane also had Namazi's mother Effie Namazi and Tahbaz's wife Vida Tahbaz. Both had not been able to leave Iran before. When Shargi's sister arrived in Doha, she said that her family received video calls from her, that she was laughing and incredibly grateful. Jared Genser, philanthropist,